I kept my mind on something positive all the time, even though my plans did not work out. So how can I actually help another person? Hi, everyone. I'm Crystal McDaniel, and this is The Naked Singer. Today, we're going to just have a brief talk about everything that has been going on in the last 2 to 3 weeks. I took a little break. We went to Hawaii. My husband Nelson and I went to Hawaii, and I took a little break from podcasting and from teaching and from the studio. It's the first real break that I have taken in over 22 years. And so I just decided to unplug from everything and take this break. Now, this podcast, I'm going to be telling you a little bit about the things that went on and that happened, but also I'm going to tell you about how you can choose to have the attitude that you want to have and how you can get your brain to wrap around the things that are going to be the best for you so that you can make sure that in everything you do, even in disappointment, that you can make sure that you keep yourself energized and in the right mindset to reach the potential and reach the whole goal that you want to be able to reach. And that's a little bit of what happened to my husband and I while we were on our trip. So a year and a half ago, I planned this trip to Hawaii, this cruise that my husband and I wanted to go on. So we decided that we would go on a cruise and we would see all the Hawaiian islands. So we planned and saved, and we really wanted to do Hawaii right. So we worked really hard to get this trip together. And so it finally came, and we left for Hawaii, and we had 2 wonderful days in Oahu. But before we could get on the cruise ship, we had to go to the medical center at the resort we were at and have a COVID test run, which we did, and the test was negative. And so we were like, woohoo, we're excited. We're going to be able to board. And so the next morning we were able to board for that particular trip. And we got on the ship and we were like, wow, this ship is really beautiful. This is going to be fantastic. We had planned 4 excursions, and they were going to start on Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we had excursions that we had paid for and planned. And I have always wanted to see the volcano in Hawaii, and so I was finally going to get to go see the volcano. And we had this biking thing that we had decided to do in Maui, and we were going to be able to taste Hawaiian culture and food, and we were going on this river cruise on Kauai and being able to see the rainforest and experience this really great cave that had been formed out of all the volcanic rock. And and it's supposed to be great acoustics, and they were going to play music, and we were going to be able to experience all of this wonderful stuff. And we were so excited. So we got on that ship and we got to our room and we unpacked and we went out to the pool and we did all the safety things they want you to do on the boat. And that Saturday night, we were able to sit in the hot tub, which was really wonderful. And it was empty out by the pool because the water was just a little wavy. And so they had closed the pools, but not the hot tubs. So we were enjoying the hot tubs. And it was really funny because there were 4 hot tubs, one on each corner of the pool. And this really, really old man, he decided that ours was the hot tub he had to get in. And we were the only people out there. There were 4 hot tubs. So there were 3 other hot tubs other than one we in. So he got in the one with us and we thought, okay, this is a little bit awkward. And so finally, a few minutes later, he got out and went to another hot tub. I have no idea what he was thinking, but that was sort of funny. So by the time Nelson and I got back to the room, he started getting a little bit of drainage, and and he could feel it on his throat and on his cords, and he kept clearing his throat and feeling on his cords. And I thought, oh no, surely not. It's probably just allergies. And I kept telling myself, it's probably just allergies. It's probably just allergies. But I wanted him to have a good trip. So the next morning, Sunday morning early, we went down to the medical center, and because of his symptoms of having drainage, they sent us back up to the room, and they had to test both of us. And of course, within the hour, we got a call, and Nelson had COVID, and I did not. I was negative, and he was quarantined for the rest of the trip. So 22 years of waiting and planning and dreaming for a trip, and he was quarantined from Sunday morning until the following Friday morning. So, that was really disappointing to both of us, because we had been working so very hard for that situation to come about. And we'd gone through so much and able to be able to finally go on a vacation and take a break from everything. And and I'm not going to lie, this is the Naked Singer, so I'm just going to put it right on out there and tell you that for 2 days I cried. I cried I cried Sunday and Monday. And I prayed and prayed and prayed. And I even went to the chapel on the ship and poured my heart out to God. And I just said, God, I don't understand. I don't understand what you are doing. I don't understand. This has been a dream for us, and we have worked so hard. And I worked so hard to give to my students, and I love my students so very much. And my husband works hard for his family. And we have, been caretakers. We were caretakers for my mom for 10 years. And it's just one of those situations where you just feel so much disappointment that it just seems like that no matter what, the things that you really, really want to be able to do, something gets in the way. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because as singers, we, have this dream of being able to make it as a singer and to make it as a musician and to be able to live our lives and be what we dream about being, and be able to make a living and support our lifestyle doing what we absolutely love to do. And so many times we get disappointed because people don't want to pay us enough, or people don't want to appreciate the time and effort that it takes to be a musician. And it takes a lot of dedication and time and effort. And it seems like they'll pour all of that money and time into something else, and then think that we should just, because we love to produce music, we should just do it for free, like we don't have a family to take care of or bills to take care of ourselves. And then we're treated like second-class citizens. It's like, well, go get another job if you want to make a living, but this you should be due to free. And it's like, no, as an artist, we need to be paid for our art. And so many times we go to auditions and we get told that no, and we go to trainings and we spend money to help ourselves, but we don't see the return coming back. And so that disappointment happens. And that's sort of the way I felt. That's really the way I felt on the ship, that I've given and given and given. And then, now Nelson can't even leave the room. And that was really disheartening at first. So, but once I got a grip, Nelson and I spent that time in the room, because I decided that if he could not go on the excursions, that I was not going to go on the excursions, because we had planned to do these things together. And I could not imagine myself seeing the things that I so wanted to see without my husband being there, because I don't feel like the experience would have been near as thrilling and near as wonderful as if I had someone to actually share that with. Now I know that some of you follow me, and I hope that you all do, because you can see it on Instagram, and you can find me on TikTok, and you can find me on Facebook. And so I hope that you actually saw some of the photos that I put out there, because there really were some beautiful photos that I put out there. But for the first couple of days, my husband and I decided we were going to spend that Sunday and that Monday. And since we were going to be in the room anyway, we were going to use that time to be able to deal with some things and make sure that we were on the same page as a couple and as partners in everything we do. So sometimes you have to regroup, and sometimes you have to come up with another plan. And I personally feel like that God takes those situations and he uses them for our good. And so this was the thing, that it was good that we could sit down and we could make our plan, and we could pray together, and we could spend time working on our relationship, and we could spend time, actually deciding what direction that we wanted to go on to, and which way we felt that God was leading us to do. So we spent time on our spiritual selves, and we spent time with one another, and we listened to one another. We actually sat down and had conversations, and it was a give and take thing. And I listened to his thoughts, and he listened to my thoughts, and we came to some conclusions together. And if we hadn't been locked in that room in that circumstance, and COVID hadn't happened to him, then we wouldn't have done that. We would have been too busy running around doing all of these things, that we wouldn't have sat and rested and actually spent the time acknowledging each other and strengthening our bond and strengthening ourselves. Now, after I regrouped on Tuesday, if you go to my TikTok or to my Instagram, you will find that I have a video on there, and I walked around the ship, and I found things on the ship that I could do that would refresh me, because since I was negative, and I just want to say I was negative every single day. I prayed on Saturday night, and I prayed on Sunday that I would be protected from COVID, and that's exactly what happened. And I went through the ship day to day. They would come in first thing in the morning, and they test me, Nelson and I got to say that our cruise, Norwegian cruise ship, this is not an advertisement. I'm just saying that we were on a Norwegian cruise, and that they treated us like royalty. They went out of their way to do everything that they could do to make the situation, a bad situation, good. So we had free internet, and we had free room service, and we had free movies, although the movies were really limited. So we had all of those free things, and they helped me out in the spa. They were very supportive and helpful. I went to the gym every day. I took care of myself. I went to their thermal suite and enjoyed the wet spa and the dry sauna, and then the meditation room. I had some spa treatments. I walked around the ship a lot. I went to a certain bar and made friends there, and it was just it was a time that I could meditate and learn that I can do things. I spent a lot of time at the jewelry store, so there's some videos showing you that I bought a ring, and there was a black pearl ring and a black pearl necklace. Black pearl bracelet, and I got several pearl bracelets and a necklace, and I bought presents for people, and so I spent time trying to make sure that I kept my mind on something positive all the time, even though my plans did not work out, even though what I wanted didn't occur. I kept moving in the direction, because when it came right down to it, this was really a first world problem. I mean, I was on a ship, a beautiful ship. I was out in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I was able to see gorgeous sunrises and gorgeous sunsets that I normally would not get to see. Most of the views were beautiful, although a lot of times we were in port and we saw shipping containers being moved from ship to ship. And so that wasn't always the most attractive thing. But in the background were these gorgeous mountains, because it was Maui and Kona and Hilo. And there was just, and Kauai. And there were just some really beautiful things. Plus, the water was so incredibly blue. And my husband and I, we had a balcony in our room, and we sat on that balcony a lot, and we looked at that water, and we were just amazed at how blue the water was, and just the movement of the water was just a thrill to be able to see. So we found ways to connect, and we found ways to find awesomeness in every single thing that went on. And I think that that's important as a singer and as a person, to make sure that you give your time when you're disappointed, give yourself time to experience your disappointment and to cry and grieve over things not working out. But you know what? Limit that time, and then take the opportunity to look around and decide and really seek what it is that you are being taught and you are learning in that moment that you are in. Because we're always there to learn something. We are never in a situation that we cannot learn. Nothing hard ever comes that we don't get stronger and we don't grow and we don't expand our minds more and more. So it really is just a stepping stone to let us go to a higher level of existence. And I think that that's really important, that we make sure that we are looking for how we can grow in a situation and how we can take whatever is going on and make it the best circumstance that we possibly can, because we really should limit how long we are feeling sorry for ourselves. Because I was on a ship really in the middle of a Pacific Ocean. And a good friend of mine, Carrie Page, hi Carrie, she came on to my Facebook page and she commented, okay, it's time to adjust your mindset. And I thought, that's right. She's absolutely right, because there's only so long that you need to take in situations like that. If you are in New York City and you are auditioning and you're going to shows and you keep getting rejection, okay, so are you by yourself trying to grow, or are you going and getting feedback from others? Maybe not your audition panel, but maybe a voice teacher, or maybe an acting coach, or maybe a musical theater coach. Yes, there are people out there called musical theater coaches. Or maybe there are classes that you need to take so you can get feedback and know exactly, exactly what's going on that's getting you those no's. Are you learning? Are you growing? Are you asking yourself, what am I learning? How am I growing? And are you taking time to give to other people? Because that's really important too. If you are only doing stuff to gratify and edify yourself, and you're not actually doing something that is generous and giving to someone else, then is it really worth doing anyway? If it cannot always just be about you. Sometimes it has to be about somebody else. And I just feel like living a life of gratitude and living a life of generosity instead of just selfishness over and over and over again. I want to do this audition. I want to be this. I want, if it's filled with I's, and there's not a time of What can I do with this gift to give to somebody else? Can I teach somebody something? Can I help give them a pull up the ladder? How can I actually help another person? I think that is a thought that we've got to figure out so that we're not so caught up in the fact that we want our plans to work out. We want our dreams to work out. Now, that doesn't mean that I want you to stop focusing on your dreams. I think that you need to stay the course, keep working, don't give up, keep your eye on the prize. I think that's exactly what you have to do. But in the process, if you're not growing as a human being, if you're not learning to give at the exact same time, then I think you need to question the motive behind it. If you're not able to find gratitude, if you're not able to find something good within your failed plan or within the rejection that you just received, if you're not able to find something good in it, then I think that you need to rethink maybe what you're doing, because in all things, we need to be able to find something good and keep our eye on the good thing that is in front of us. Not everything is going to work out all the time, but that doesn't mean that you need to quit. That doesn't mean you need to take a bad attitude or a bad view on it. Every single time, as I said, when I was on this cruise ship, I cried for 2 days. I really did. I mean, that was a lot of planning and a lot of saving and a lot of work. And it was 22 years of hoping to be able to go and do something wonderful. And that didn't work out, although it was wonderful that we ended up in Hawaii. And it was wonderful to be on the ship and to see all the beautiful things that we did see, even though we didn't get to actually get out there and explore it. We saw it and we grew from seeing it. We grew from just the experience of being present there. And I think that when we're doing something as a singer, like going to an audition, and even though it doesn't work out for us, we've got to make sure that we grow from the experience of just being present there. I mean, you were in the line in New York City. You were in the line at whatever audition that you were at. You showed up. You brought your energy. You brought your talent. You brought your intelligence. And you've got to think, what can I draw from that experience that will help somebody else? And how did I learn and grow as a person by being there? What did I see? What did I smell? What did it feel like to have that experience, so that you know that you are moving forward in this really positive way? Because every single time you are involved in something that moves you forward, even if it's just an inch, you've learned something. You've grown somewhere. You've gotten stronger. You've gotten more selfless. You've gotten more giving. I think that's really important that we think about that. I think that is so important that we keep that as our focus. This career, music careers, can make us really selfish, and it can make us tainted, and it can make us negative. We get so much negative feedback. And there's no follow-up behind it. We get so much bad attitude, and we get so much competition. This person is competing and that person is competing, and oh, what do they sound like? And there's so much comparison that goes on and on and on within this particular career. And I think sometimes we have to just step back and go, you know what? I am not going to be that person that compares. I am not going to be that person that competes. I am going to be the person that is just myself. And I am going to trust that God Almighty is with me. I'm going to trust that He gave me this gift. And I'm going to trust that every single time I get up there, I am doing it for that purpose and that purpose alone. And that is enough. And if this is a role for me, then the door will open and I'll be there. And if not, I'm going to be grateful for the experience. I'm going to ask myself what I have learned. I'm going to be thankful that I was able to show up. And I'm just going to keep going and live a life filled with joy anyway. I am not going to let somebody steal my joy or a situation steal my joy just because it didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, or the way I may have dreamed that it might. Everything in life is a journey. It's a complete experience. It is an adventure. Everything we do is a new and exciting adventure. And we don't know what's going to happen. But if we look at it as though we're an explorer trying to discover something and that it's exciting, then we're going to understand that our attitude and our viewpoint is going to come from a higher place, and we're going to be more filled with joy over that situation than we would if we walked in there going, well, it's just another audition. Here I am here again. I hope they don't reject me. You know, sometimes there's something to be said for looking at life more like Tigger than Eeyore. And sometimes there's something to life to just know that no matter what, you're in the moment that you're in. There is no other time than now. Than right now, because the past is past and the future hasn't happened yet. So all you have is now. And if all you have is now, and there isn't a future and there isn't a past, and now is all we've got to hold on to, then you might as well enjoy it. Because who wants to go moment by moment, now, from now to now to now to now, and be miserable? There's no need for that. There is no need for that. So what did I learn in Hawaii? I learned that people are wonderful and that they care and they're happy to see you. There wasn't a person that I met that wasn't filled with joy and interest in the person that was in front of them. They lived to help people. I learned that when they have traffic, they don't honk the horn at one another. They just wait patiently for the traffic to go. I learned that the sky can be bluer if you look at it. That the clouds can be fascinating if you take a moment to see them. I learned that life can change in the blink of an eye. And that one morning you can wake up and things are one way, and then in a 2-hour period of time, things can change. And the people you love could no longer be there. Saw that at Pearl Harbor. I learned that the best laid plans aren't always the best laid plans. And sometimes things can turn out better if we just wait patiently and look for how to do things better and to make the best out of what's already a good situation, because most of us already have a good situation. And the ones that don't, maybe we should think about how good we have it and allow that to spill over to those that don't. I think that's important to think about, that we look around and make sure that the people around us really sure that we can share our blessings with other people. They don't have to be people we compare with, and they don't have to be people we can compete with, and they don't have to be people we judge. They can just be people we look at and go, wow, who are you? What is your name? Thanks for being in my life today. I think all of those things are so very important. So over the last little while, when I've taken a break, these are the things that I've been contemplating on. And I'm grateful that I have an audience that listens, and I'm grateful that I have this podcast, and I'm grateful that I have a wonderful husband. I'm grateful for the students that I have and for the friends and family that I have. I am grateful for all of my dogs. I am grateful for my two wonderful assistants, Mara Johnson and Jennifer Wall. I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for my life. I've got a good one, and I think you do too. And I think that if we think more about people that don't have what we have, and maybe try to reach out more in that direction, that the dreams that we have will come sooner and faster. I think that we need to count our blessings every single day and understand that most of us are blessed people, so blessed that we always can find something to give to someone else. I think that that's important. Even if you're standing in a line at an audition and you have been for hours, think about what you can do for somebody else. And I know you want to concentrate on the job and the audition that you're given, but maybe you should shift your mind for just a moment and think about what you can do that might actually help somebody else's day. Those thoughts are going to stay with us eternally. A show will last for a short period of time. The stuff that will be eternal are what we leave behind about ourselves. Our love, our graciousness, our thankfulness, and our willing to be generous. Stay open, people. Keep your eyes peeled for what you can do. Keep your mind firmly set on your goals and your dreams. Hand it all over to God, and you've got the best recipe for success. Okay, that's all I have for you today. Remember, the podcast drops every Monday, so this one will drop from tomorrow. The really great one was the special one that I dropped last Wednesday it was an interview with DJ Curtis. Yes, it was late, and y'all forgive me. I'm getting back on schedule now, but DJ's interview is so amazing. He is with the Center Stage Theater in Portland and does amazing work there, Portland, Oregon, and does absolutely amazing work right now. He is directing Tick Tick Boom. He just came off of doing Rent out there He's just a completely amazing human being. And I want you to listen to that one. That was episode 28. Yes, we're going into episode 29. I just can't believe it. I'm almost to my 30th episode. How exciting is that? So I am grateful for everything. And I remind you to make sure to comment and like and share this podcast. Remember, it drops on all your favorite podcast networks. Networks. It drops on all your favorite podcast networks. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Naked Singer Blog. You can find me on Facebook at Naked Singer Blog. You can find me on TikTok at The Naked Singer. I'm on Instagram. On LinkedIn at The Naked Singer. So you can find me there. Make sure that you direct message me because I want to hear from you. Make sure you comment on the post. And as always, I'm Crystal McDaniel, and this is The Naked Singer.